All right, what's going on, everybody? So actually behind me is one of the first properties that I ever flipped. I think it was on the corner, on the top floor is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that needed a lot of work. I mean, it's a condo, so condos, even a condo that needs a lot of work is still manageable, even for a newer investor like myself. And I just want to tell you a couple things that I learned from doing my first deal, because I know there's a lot of new real estate investors out there that still need to get that first deal under their belt. And I'll tell you a couple quick tips. So number one, if you look at this building, it's not the biggest building, but it's not the smallest building in the world either. And the way I found this deal was through targeted direct mail. So as a new real estate investor, that's going to be one of your best sources of leads. And the list that I was mailing to was absentee with high equity. And it was people that had owned the property for at least, I think 15 years was my criteria. So I had sent them postcards, and it wasn't that many people in this building. In fact, I had just done this area. So it's probably people that probably met the criteria in that building might have only been like 3 or 4 out of like 200 people or so in the building. So my first lesson is you need to be very strategic with your marketing. If I had just marketed to everybody in the entire building, I probably wouldn't have got that many responses, just because motivated sellers tend to be like high equity, absentee owned, pre-foreclosure, probate, eviction, tax liens, things like that. So the overwhelming majority of people are not going to be looking to sell fast to a real estate investor. And that's okay. That's why we only market to potentially motivated sellers. And there's plenty of places to get these types of lists. You can get them on places like Alesco Data, Melissa Data, ListSource, and many other places, even the county records, the county courthouse. Now, the second lesson is that you can flip pretty much anything. Any asset that you find at a low price that might be worth more, look, if you find a good deal, you can purchase it and flip it. This obviously was a condo, but it works pretty similarly to a single family house. I mean, I flipped single family houses, I've done condos, I've done townhouses, I've even done land. So don't let that stop you. I mean, I look at a condo deal pretty much the same way as I look at any other deal. And I would say, though, the most important thing when you're evaluating condos is that make sure you're evaluating condos within the same building. Because if you're new to real estate investing, and I remember I was looking at a condo deal and there weren't too many comps, so I started looking at other condo properties around the neighborhood. And the thing to know about condos is that obviously there's so many different variables in each building, so it's a little bit tougher to get comps. So that's why with comps with condos, you really need to be sure you're looking at the same building. Even if you have to go back like 3 or 4 years, look at comps from the same building. And then obviously when you're looking at townhouses compared to townhouses, single family houses compared to single family houses, make sure it's similar properties that you're comparing. Because I've seen some investors, it might be, they're sending me a deal on a row house, but then they're sending me comps on like renovated single family houses. And that's just completely different. It's just not gonna work. The next lesson I learned is that you do not need money to invest in real estate. I repeat, you do not need money. I don't care what anybody tells you. I've done a ton of deals without any money, including this one. All you do is you put it under contract and you assign the rights of the contract to a cash buyer. It's as simple as that. Now you can also do like double closes and things like that, but for starters, all you have to do is put the property under contract and then have a cash buyers list of investors. And the best way to build a cash buyers list is really just to go online, type in We Buy Houses, find the We Buy Houses people. And you can also go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great because you can just type in like real estate investor and then just go to your city and you'll probably find like 500 people that are We Buy Houses, and then that can be your cash buyers list. So don't let not having money stop you. Eventually what you want to do is you want to use these quick flips to build up more capital so that you can eventually purchase. Now I'm kind of doing more of like a combination of the quick flips as well as the longer term actually fixing it up and reselling, just because those are more profitable. Those carry a little bit more risk, they're more time intensive, but you can also make a good amount. The next lesson I learned is that you need to move quick. So with any type of rehab or any type of fixer-upper deal, especially if it's off market, these deals do not last long. So if it's on the MLS, there might be like, okay, we're doing a deadline like a week from now and we're gonna let 5,000 people take a look at it. With off-market properties, you really have to move quickly. So if a motivated seller calls you from your direct mail, your online marketing, whatever you're doing, you need to get out there and meet them in person if possible, or make them an offer as soon as possible. I've missed out on deals because I didn't, go there literally like within an hour or two. And I waited until, one time I got a call on like a Sunday afternoon. And instead of meeting that seller at the property like he wanted me to, I was like, I'll just call him back on Monday and, I'm sure it'll be fine. Nope, deal is gone. So you gotta move quick. And lastly, what I would say for doing your first couple deals is just don't try to make like $1 million on your first couple deals. Just focus on getting the deal done. because I see too many investors that try to just, they think they're going to make like 100,000 on their first deal, and you can't do that. But focus more on learning before you focus on earning. And that's a Robert Kiyosaki quote. I didn't make that up. But basically just focus on getting the deal done. So with this deal, even though I had a pretty big buyers list, I just sent it to the top investor in my area, like the #1 We Buy Houses company. And I said, look, this is what I have it under contract for. Would you give me this amount? They said, yep, that's a deal. And the top home buyers don't mess around. They get the deals done. So for your first couple of deals, try to work with the top house buyers, because if I had sent it out to additional buyers, I might have gotten like a really high offer, probably more than this company was offering me. But the likelihood, because I didn't have a lot of experience and I couldn't really vet people, I might not know if they could actually close or not. So once you do a couple deals, you'll get a feel for it pretty quickly. But for your first couple deals, just work with the top buyers and don't try to make like 100,000 on your first couple deals. Just get the deal done. That's the most important thing. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Get out there, do your marketing, evaluate your deals correctly, work with the top people, and let me know once you do your first deal. And please subscribe, please like, please comment if you have any questions on your first deal, and I'll see you later. All right, bye.